At the May 11th City Council meetings, Council heard from the community about the death of a citizen who was for a time a member of the Fallen Angels encampment. The Spec-Tran CATA service, specifically for disabled folks, received additional criticism for poor service. Council passed 4 changes to the parking code. Parking enforcement hours are reduced to 9 to 5 instead of 8 to 6. The timing for paying the least amount for a parking ticket was amended from within 2 hours to before midnight on the day of issuance, and all ticket fine tiers were increased by $10. And finally, the cost for more than 2-hour street parking in areas where more than 2 hours is allowed was increased. Welcome to What Lansing Council, a podcast transforming Monday night's Lansing City Council meetings into an enthralling recap. I'm your host, Jill Dombrowski, and today my very special guest is Christopher Greene-Szmadzinski. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, Jill. How are you doing today?
I am doing so good.
Good.
Christopher serves as the co-chair of the Mayor's Neighborhood Advisory Council and also sits on the Lansing Park Board. He posts about pazcki sightings and other important and random Lansing geography at lansingography.com. Thank you for making all those great maps.
You're welcome. It's my pleasure.
What would you say is how you would describe Lansing in your own words?
I would say we are diverse. We have a lot of people working hard. I think Lansing shows up. I think we're very resourceful. I also feel like we're pretty disjointed. I see that we have a lot of people doing really good work, a lot of city workers doing good work, state workers doing good work, people in the community doing good work. There's so many great organizations that are just like grassroots that sprung up and people are doing so much.
Yeah.
But I also feel like we're pretty split apart. You know, we've had the highway built through some communities. We've got some really busy roads that kind of cut neighborhoods in half.
Yeah.
And so I feel like we're kind of splintered in some ways.
Yeah.
But we come together around a lot of issues that are very important.
Mm-hmm.
And as much as I hate to say it, I think we're kind of scrappy. I don't know if that's always a positive connotation of a word, but I think we are. We're pretty scrappy here.
I feel like in all the hero stories, you know, the heroes are usually pretty scrappy.
Yeah. We're resourceful. We get things done when we need to.
Yeah, you got it. And what else do you love about Lansing?
Well, so I live in Ward 2, which I love. It's got a lot of access to the river trail, which I use a lot. I am a cyclist. I'm a runner. I play soccer in our parks down there. So it's great for outdoorsy stuff. It's great for seasonal stuff. Hawk Island Park is great.
Yeah, awesome. And what would you like to see change in Lansing?
I think Lansing is great, and I see a lot of people making improvements, and I think in many ways we're going in the right direction. I think some of the ways that I like for us to continue or maybe start making inroads, probably a terrible choice of word there because I'm about to talk about roads, but I would love it if it were safer for people to walk around, to bike around, to wheel around the city. There are so many ways that you can get around using your body, and we have for many years really tilted the scales towards people who like to drive around, and that's had a compounding effect. And it's interesting, we're going to talk, at council, one of the things that they talked about a lot was parking, and I think that parking eats up a lot of our idea space in this city and also eats a lot of our physical space. Absolutely. Yes. So many just flat parking lots.
Yes.
So many that are like closed to people who aren't part of a specific group. And it's interesting. You go to Grand Rapids or Ferndale or Detroit or like lots of other places, and it's pretty normal to have shared parking, and that's what you do. Like everyone shares these several ramps, but like we kind of have like segregated out. This one is for if you work here. This one's for work here. This one if you are an employee here. Yeah. And it just makes things further apart. And I think that has had a negative effect on our city. Yeah. But we're addressing that. I think we're working on that as a city. I hope we continue to do so.
Great. Would you like to get into the meeting?
Yeah, let's get into the meeting.
Okay. So we are talking about the May 11th Lansing City Council meetings. And present at the meetings, we have our council members. And they are Ryan Cost, representing the 1st Ward, Dayanara Navarez-Martinez of the 2nd Ward, Adam Hussein of the 3rd Ward. He was at the Committee of the Whole, but was not at the regular meeting, which is rare. Peter Spatafor, Council President of the 4th Ward, and our at-large members are Tamara Carter, Jeremy Garza, Clara Martinez, and Council Vice President Trini Pelivanoglu. Also present at the meeting is the city attorney, Greg Venker, and Sherry Boak, the recording secretary, and Jake Brower was there. Jake is the city's chief strategy officer. So public comment straight away was like, no one's here representing the mayor at the meeting, because usually it's Mark Lawrence as chief of staff. And Brower kind of like looked around and was like, I guess I am. Like, hi.
Hey, guys.
So Brower starts things off. He gives a Q3 of 2025 general fund update and also the Q3 of 2025 vacancy report on behalf of the HR, the Human Resources Department. So he's wearing like 3 hats for that 20 minutes.
Right.
For the budget update, he's like, we're slightly under here, we're slightly over there, no questions from council. And for the vacancies, he's saying that the City Pulse has given the city an uncommonly transparent rating for posting this vacancy list. So look at us.
Gold star for Lansing from
Right.
City Pulse.
I know. I feel like that was like an Arrested Development where he's like, and the blue stock is at don't buy.
Yes, great reference.
Brower is saying that the state is getting a lot of scrutiny for having, quote, ghost employees. And so he's saying we're doing such a good job of not being opaque, and we move the money that's budgeted for these jobs into the departmental budgets, and it just gets rolled in next year for if these people get hired. So look at how great our budgeting is. So.
No ghosts here. But we do have a ghost buster. Maybe that's why we don't have ghosts.
Yes, they're all taken care of. Spatafor says, so great to see this list lower than Q2. Good job. And I'm like looking back, and in Q2 there were 35 vacancies, and in Q3 there's 40. So I
didn't notice that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe there's some ghosts that we're missing.
Maybe.
City Council has a legislative analyst vacancy, so if anyone out there is interested in that, they can apply on the onlines.
It's out of my wheelhouse, but it sounds fascinating.
Yeah. So that's it for the Committee of the Whole, short meeting. For the regular meeting, the mayor is there on his own behalf, as well as City Clerk Chris Swope. The mayor is happy to report that 8 police officers were sworn in this week, and the head of finance, Crystal Thomas, has won a, quote, Michigan Woman in Finance Award. And it seems like there are a lot of awards in the world of finance, because during their budget presentation, they were like talking about other awards. So like people who are celebrating a good job is finance.
Go money.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. Yes. More money awards.
Yes.
It's all happening. Yeah, I'd love to see like a city awards dashboard in addition to the new charter mandated tax and debt dashboard.
That's a fantastic idea. We should definitely bring that up at next council meeting.
So, council sets a public hearing about this charter mandated tax and debt dashboard. So, it sounds like to me that this will be an explanation of what the city taxes are coming from. So, like the specific millages, like who's paying them for how long, and then what the city debts are. It doesn't sound like this is going to be like an individual, this person has to pay this much. But I don't know. Do you understand what is going on with this?
That was really interesting. So I kind of applaud council for doing these things, because this is kind of the boring stuff that they have to do because of the Charter Commission and their decisions, right? So they're just kind of like doing the hard work of creating these things that the Charter Commission basically has required them to do. But yeah, I got the sense that you did. I look at the budget, and so I sense, it seems to me like this is going to be the budget, but maybe in a more friendly format. But that seems like a lot of reduplication in my eyes. I don't know. We'll wait to see what it looks like. But like this information is already publicly available, but maybe the goal is to make it more easily digestible. But that's something that's not very easy to measure. So we'll see what happens when this comes out.
Yeah. I haven't read that part of the charter changes specifically. I wonder if they're like trying to mirror it based on what they've seen other cities do, or...
I wonder what other cities have done this and what it looks like, because actually I don't know. That's a really good question.
Yeah. There was one public comment around this, and I think they thought it was going to be on an individual basis. You'd be able to see all the taxes like each person is paying. And he's saying, I'm so excited to see that we're auditing wealthy citizens. They should be paying more if they're making more. And this person ended casually with, eat the rich, I guess.
Yeah, right? Eat the rich, I guess. Way to commit. Yeah, the 1% of Lansing.
So, working on that. Council's only real discussion of the night was around these parking rule revisions.
Yes, and there was a fair bit of it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to quickly run through these again. So they're changing 4 things. The timing on when the lowest tier of the parking ticket can be paid. And there's 4 tiers for this, and those amounts are all going up. The cost of the on-street metered parking spots is going up after 2 hours, and then the hours when the parking tickets can be issued. So that last one goes through no problem, and that again is changing to be 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. instead of what it currently is, 8 to 6.
Right. And can we just highlight a tiny, almost throwaway comment? Did you hear Peter Spadafore say, we're going to call it the Dolly Parton parking bill?
I didn't know what that meant.
What? You are not familiar with the oeuvre of Dolly Parton? Okay, your homework tonight is to go listen to Dolly Parton's 9 to 5. She's got a whole song.
Okay.
It's wonderful.
Got it.
Parking 9 to 5.
Well, hopefully she's on there.
Yes.
All the signs are going to have to be updated.
Well, absolutely.
Because I'm when I came in
yeah.
today, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a hidden cost of this. This is just changing literally every sign.
That's true, yeah. Did you see the 2023 parking study that they keep referencing in here?
No, I haven't looked at it.
It was pretty good. I liked it. There were a lot of really good recommendations in there. And some of these things do kind of follow those recommendations. And there was a comment by Ryan Koss, which I thought was kind of funny because he was like, we've been talking about this for several years, and I'm not sure why you guys need a couple more weeks to do this thing when we've been doing this. People have been asking about this. We've had the data for at least, 3 years now?
Yeah.
Probably more than that.
Yeah.
But one of their recommendations was what you just said, which is it's very confusing when you're downtown. There are signs of all different shapes and colors. There's not really one uniform look of what the parking signs are and how to do whatever. And so this really is an opportunity. I hope this is a good opportunity for us to just revisit, pick a theme and a communication strategy, and then make that very clear everywhere. Because what we have right now, I don't think is very clear everywhere. I mean, I live here, and so I know how to navigate all the things, but anytime people visit, I definitely get texts for wait, is this different than blah, blah, blah? I'm just it works. I feel like I'm explaining that to people.
Yeah. I feel like I understand the intent behind this, but it is not being simplified.
Correct.
I mean, maybe those hours are being simplified. So... Okay, so they're changing those hours, the 9 to 5 Dolly Parton parking. So that'll be easy to remember. And then the fees, this is what it says in the language of the resolution or whatever. The current rate structure may incentivize motorists to utilize on-street parking locations for extended visits rather than pay the maximum daily parking rate in parking ramps, creating unintended consequences for motorists seeking parking solutions for short-term visits. So the maximum daily rate for the ramps is $15 a day. So I guess it was you could park for 8 hours in some of the spots, allow you to park for up to 8 hours.
Some of the metered spots.
Right, some of the metered spots, and it would be less than that. But now they're changing it so that if you parked for 8 hours from the new 9 to 5, it would cost you $22 to do that in some of the on-street metered sites, where in the ramp it is $15 a day, so you would have to pay more.
Right.
But again, it's downtown, it's 2 hours. Those are not the downtown spots that we're talking about. So it's I feel like what was missing for me from this discussion is how many spots are we even talking about? Where are these spots where we're going to be making so much more money from people now that they're parking in the ramp or whatever? I mean, I guess it's just what's the goal? What's the goal of this?
Yeah.
And maybe you can tell me from that parking study, what's the goal? What was the goal of that parking study?
I wish I had it right in front of me because it did list, we have 3,000 or so ramp spots, and we had, I can't remember how many on-street parking spots there were. I do understand that if somebody understands the whole picture, as you just laid out very clearly and very simply, it does make sense that someone might be encouraged to park in a lot or in a ramp instead of on the street, therefore leaving street parking open for someone who just wants to go to Summit to pick up a couple of books or go to Hobnob.
The peanut shop is the one that is continually being used as the example.
Right?
Yes.
That's the only place where I can get my hazelnuts. So, okay, right? You go in, you get your hazelnuts. Cashews, who are you? Gross. No, I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. I just offended all the cashew listeners. But hazelnuts are better. Anyways.
I do prefer hazelnuts.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Conceded.
Excellent. Okay. So I could see like someone who has this whole picture, they understand it. Yes, it would make sense. Oh, I'm going downtown for a day. I'm going to park in this structure instead of on the street, leaving spaces open. But one thing I remember from this parking study is that parking downtown was not ever full except during events. There was always open spaces. And there were lots of contributing factors to that. And one of them actually was kind of funny. It was like most of the businesses aren't actually even open all day. So they looked and like at 9 a.m. and 10 a.m. only half the businesses were even open. At 11 a.m. it was like 60%, and everything was open at 11 and 12 and 1. And then at 2 and 3 and 4 things were closed, and nothing was open at 4, nothing was open at 5.
Okay.
I feel like it's kind of a running joke in Lansing that like downtown everything closes at 4:30 or 4:40. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Lansing Facts or some of their earlier videos. Of course you are. But do you remember there was the one where like they were talking about the different areas of the city, and they were like, this is downtown. And then she opens the door and it's locked, and she's like, oh, I forgot. It's 3 o'clock. And you're like, everyone knows everything. But one of their, I'm sorry, I have sidetracked. You're going to have to edit this out.
No.
But one of the points that they made in that was that, like, in most places, parking was never completely full. But for events, it was always full. And so I'm not sure what problem we're trying to solve with this.
Yeah. Yes.
And also, like, it assumes that someone understands the parking situation, which the average person, unless the signage is good, which right now I don't think it is, are they going to know that, like, hey, if you go and park in this ramp, it's actually cheaper than if you sit here for 6 hours?
Right, yeah. Well, I'm sure all of this was talked about, quote, in committee.
Sure.
And then we're just getting, you know, the aftermath of that. But there
decisions.
was a lot of talk still at the meeting.
There was.
Betwixt the members. So one thing that I thought was funny, the mayor was explaining this rate increase by the hour for, like, if you're parking longer for 2 hours, then you're going to have to pay more, so that, like, parking on the street is more expensive than parking in the ramp. And Garza was like, hang on, like, I thought you couldn't park for longer than 2 hours. And the mayor is like, yes, like most, like in the downtown, you're right, but in other places, so you have to read the signs very carefully.
Yes.
Like even the mayor said that.
Yes, again, it's extremely confusing, even for some of the insiders, people who live and work downtown. Yeah.
Yes. So, so next I'm going to just talk about what these fines updates that they're looking at. So the amount you're going to pay when you get a parking ticket. So on the ordinance, it says, quote, the current fine structure may incentivize motorists to receive a citation rather than pay the maximum daily parking rate, creating unintended consequences for the city's parking management. So the amount to pay to like park in the ramp was $15, and the parking ticket was $15.
I see.
So it's like, yes, the parking ticket should be more.
Yeah, that does make sense.
Than the cost to park in the ramp. So
okay, so this is my own ignorance showing, but I did not know that was the case.
Yes.
And I have never felt...
Damn it, I could just be getting parking tickets this
Well,
whole
every time I
time.
get a parking ticket, it's like a huge crisis for me. And I'm like, oh no, I was just coming out with coins or whatever. And so apparently I have not been...
hazelnut bag in
my
your
hazelnuts, my hazelnuts. I've never properly been incentivized, but now I will start being more thoughtful, I think.
Yes. So it's the fee for the tickets has gone up by $10 for, again, each of the 4 categories based on when you pay your parking ticket. So
it's very simple, Jill.
Oh my God. It used to be if you paid within 2 hours, then you paid $15. And if you paid within 2 weeks, then it was $25, and then 2 to 4 weeks, like it goes up $10 each time. But now you get a grace period. You can pay up until midnight on the day of issuance. So that was something they changed. So it used to be 2 hours, and now it's up to midnight.
Yeah.
And it's $25. So the lowest you're going to pay for a parking ticket now is $25. And then if you pay it within 2 weeks, $35, within 4 weeks, $45, within 6 weeks, $55. And then after 6 weeks, there will be a civil infraction punishable as provided by law.
Okay, that makes sense.
So then it's just
so
up
unpaid
to...
parking tickets, they go to the courts, and then if you get pulled over and the cops see that you have one, then it becomes a whole thing probably.
Yeah.
Or maybe, I don't know, do they go after people with parking tickets that are unpaid? Do they call you? You get phone calls.
I guess that's a question for the attorney. Like, who's enforcing that?
Right, yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, so there's 2 public comments about the whole parking situation. One says, I am in agreement with pushing the deadline to midnight instead of just the 2 hours to pay that first rate and reducing the enforcement hours, but not with the fine and fee increases. How much did you pay for this parking study? I can tell you right now for free that people are not going to come to downtown if they have to pay so much to park. And also, parking should be free on holidays. So that was one comment. And the next said, I am dissuaded by parking fees, and I prefer that to happen. I would rather see public transit and pedestrian bike infrastructure increases as a way to incentivize people to go downtown. Vehicles are not people. Vehicles are hostile and dangerous to people. Bringing more people downtown is a different goal than bringing more vehicles downtown.
Yeah, I really appreciate that comment. I do. So I think there is an equity piece that has to be mentioned that, there are certain people who require for like physical disability reasons, they're going to need either to be able to drive and park someplace, or they're going to need a place where they can be dropped off. And I know Spec-Tran is going to come up later. And so I think that's important. But yeah, the average person probably should be disincentivized from driving into the most amenity-full, most populous part of our city. There should be ways for them to get there, though, still. Like, we want people who live in the city of Lansing to be able to access our own amenities. We should be able to get there. A bus is a great idea, or a shuttle, or biking or walking if you're near enough. I think those are all, I think that was a really great point that he made, and I found myself pretty persuaded by it.
Yeah. So Council Member Ryan Cost is kind of making a fuss about these items. He's saying that the ticket fees are dissuading people from parking downtown, and he would rather see 15-minute free parking than these changes that are being proposed. For the grace period for paying the parking ticket at the lowest fee, which will now be $25, he would prefer to see a 72-hour grace period instead of until midnight.
He saw that, and there was that legal chatter about, well, can I propose this as an amendment, or are we going to have to start over in the process? And they kind of decided, let's do that separately.
Right. City Attorney Venker was like, that would need to go through a new public hearing.
Right.
And Council President Spatafor says Councilmember Navarez-Martinez also wants it to be 3 days. She's working on that. Like, you two can work together on that, and we can do that later. Okay.
Yes.
And Councilmember Carter says in committee, the planning department head, Raleigh Van Fossen, is saying that they're, quote, working on the pilot program to try out the 15-minute free parking. And the problem is, like, we have this vendor who does, like, the app, and every time you do a transaction on there, it costs money. So, like, the city would have to be eating that, like, transaction fee for the $0 transaction fee. So it's like, we're making this just more complicated, more and more complicated.
Possibly more expensive for us.
Possibly more expensive for the city, right.
Yeah. I think that this was in the original 2023 study, though. I think that they recommended having some free period. And I think that makes a lot of sense. If you really want to encourage people to come in and out of your downtowns, like, absolutely say, you've got a half hour for free. Yeah. Go get your hazelnuts. Yeah. Go get your board game from Summit. Get your Thai food, and then get back in your car. Yeah. And that will prevent people like the state workers from parking and taking up a space all day.
Exactly. And the mayor, kind of to round this out, says, I'm not going to talk about when you all need to do what, but then he goes on to say, but we really need this as soon as possible because the business leaders are all in support of this. So can you just do this now?
Right.
And so 6-1, all these go through, and Cost votes against the fee changes and the fine changes. So it's all going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. That'll be interesting. Cars are interesting. They just take up so much of our mental space and, I guess, physical space, right? Like, you go downtown, and And that's the first question people are like, well, where am I going to put my car? And
right, yeah.
You can't say that about anything else. If I brought a refrigerator downtown, I was like, well, where am I going to put my refrigerator? People look like I'm crazy, but yeah. It's a car.
Yeah. I mean, I could talk about cars for days, honestly. But it's just such this interesting idea of I'm bringing my personal space with me through a public space.
Yes.
Like my personal space of this car needs to be protected.
Yes.
And it's mine, but I'm out here in this world taking up everyone else's space with it.
Yeah. It's really tough too because we have really built our city around cars too, and so at some point we're kind of like, so I'm very sensitive of the balance between saying like, no, like this is your car, figure it out yourself. Like you want to put it somewhere, but you don't have a right to put it anywhere in the public space. Mm-hmm. At the same time, being like, well, we built our entire downtown environment around cars, and now we're going to punish you for wanting to use cars.
And it's such a part of like the identity of this area.
That's true.
Is like
100% true.
Our ancestors worked to build these
Some
machines.
of them are still working
to
to build these machines for us in our city or nearby. You're right. Yeah,
we need
absolutely.
to continue to honor them by using them.
Yeah.
So, it's
but we can make buses. Let's just start making buses. Mm-hmm. Let's make some trolleys and shuttles.
Yes, we can start that company.
We can still make cars.
We'll go through the Empower program and we'll learn how to be...
You and me, Jill.
Yes. Everyone will get free hazelnuts on the bus.
Oh my God, I love this place so much.
Okay, public comment. So now I'm going to say the public comments that people said. One person says, Spatafor, I see you are working on some ordinance changes to support housing services. Thank you for doing that. We need to be helping the people who are not just, quote, housing ready, the ones that the Nova Pod Project is targeting.
Yes.
And then this commenter goes on to talk about an unhoused friend who recently passed away. And she had been swept again and again by the Lansing police when she was in community with other unhoused folks, and this really destabilized her. Yeah. She was a kind and affectionate soul, and her name was Tamara McCarthy, and she was known as Myrna.
Yeah, and that story really brought home for me how when people are in stable housing, they are just better. There are so many issues, not all issues, but so many issues that when you just provide some stability, they are better themselves because they don't have to worry about this. And that was so tragic. That was absolutely tragic to hear. So heartbreaking. Yeah.
During the beginning of the regular meeting, council member Navarez Martinez did do a remembrance for this person, and I thought that was a kindness.
That was.
So other people are saying everyone is unhoused for a reason, and it is not always because they, quote, made some bad decisions. You are just hoping these people will go away or die, and you are getting your wish. There's more empty houses in the city than unhoused people. Let's just put the people in the empty houses. We need a moratorium on sweeps, and we need a place where people can safely go to sleep, and that is a place of sanctioned encampment. Somebody else says, the purpose of a system is what it does. Yeah. And this is like an ideal from systems thinking. And what he's saying is the intention of the system doesn't matter, but the actual effects. Yeah. And the city of Lansing's approach to homelessness is killing homeless people. Mm-hmm. They lose everything when they are swept. They'll suffer a tragedy and die. You are routinely killing your citizens. And this is an example that could be spurring change. Let's do something differently. And somebody else says, I don't know why I'm talking to you. You don't listen to me. The people who are working on the issues for the unhoused folks have called a meeting with you, and you won't go to their own meetings that they're calling. Another citizen is very critical of how the Advent House organization is running their operations. This person has suffered deteriorated sight because of conditions at one of their facilities.
That's what it sounded like.
And then somebody else says we need new, younger leadership, like in New York City, somebody who will focus on affordability and accessibility. Mm-hmm. Somebody else says, are the cooling centers ready to go? We will be needing the cooling centers soon. They're saying like the warming centers, you weren't ready to get those online. So like This person just wants people to be ready to go to provide care should it be needed. That same person says we should not be neglecting the maintenance on our buildings such that we need $100 million to tear them down and rebuild them from the ground up. And this person is talking about the bond that was recently passed for the school, intermediate school district at the Beekman Center.
Correct, yes.
Yeah, which is like an insane, like $1 billion needed.
Yeah.
For like this
that
one.
That is such an interesting point, right? How do we maintain the good things that we have so they don't become things that we have to tear down and rebuild?
Yeah. This person is saying, city council and mayor, you are so insulated. You don't have your pulse on what the citizens are up to. They're going to revolt. And someone else is saying that minimum parking requirements are not a sound planning practice. And the fees collected from parking should be going to the businesses directly next to the parking spots.
Yeah, that was from Donald Shoup, the author.
Yeah. So then there's a person who states that they are autistic and that they have had concerns with the Spec-Tran service that is operated by CATA, the Capital Area Transportation Authority, has this Spec-Tran service specifically for people with disabilities. And this person is saying that this thing that is supposed to be helping us is causing me and others in my community a lot of distress.
Yeah.
Like it's always late and the drivers don't understand autism and they need to be going through some training. And then this person's mom gets up and says basically the same thing, that these buses are leaving people stranded. Folks have lost jobs because of they're relying on these buses and they don't show up or they're super late, that she's spoken with CATA leadership and that they were very flippant, saying this was a one-off problem.
Ouch.
But it hasn't been one-off, and it's very dangerous for her son. And she went on to talk about one night he was left at a bowling alley and the bus was super late and he got really upset. And part of autism is like he can't calm himself down.
Yeah.
So
people could misread that upset as aggression or danger when he's not a danger, but he's been left in a situation which makes him look like a danger.
Exactly. And this has happened to others. She says this has happened to other people.
She said there was a whole family group of people who this
Right.
has happened to repeatedly.
Right. And once her son asked the driver to change the radio station when it was like really like riling him up, and the driver was like, no.
Yeah.
So that's not great.
That's not great. I have sensory issues, and that can set me off, like having like lights or sounds. And yeah, I think that the mother had made a really good point. That was the point of this transportation is for people who have these special needs. So they should be more sensitive, not less sensitive, to people who have those special needs than the rest of the average public, probably. So that would be a good training opportunity. I hope that CATA jumps on that. I love CATA, but this does seem like an area of improvement that they could take. Yeah.
It sounds like they've worked so hard to try to get some traction on this issue, and they're just not getting anywhere. So, they're here at council.
Yep.
Yeah, I always wonder about people's stories of, like, what they've done before that's brought them here to council.
How many things have they tried? Who have they talked to?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Have you ever given a comment at council?
Yeah, I've given a few comments at council. Yeah, I like to show up when there are things that I want to encourage, because I feel like there's a lot of people who get there when they're at the end of their rope. And so sometimes I try to say, you know what, this is something that I'd like to support before I get to the point where I'm showing up and yelling at somebody, even though sometimes those people who show up to yell have some very legitimate reasons for doing so. I don't want to discount that. Yes,
for sure. Best dressed. I'm giving the award. There was not like a real standout this meeting, but I'm going to give
There was that young lady who showed up and she was talking about an event at the Robin Theater. I think she was wearing this lovely blue denim shirt. No? Is that not who we're giving this to?
Best dress goes to council member Dianara Navarez-Martinez.
Oh, she is always looking flawless, TBH. Yes, of course. This is an easy win.
She had like a beautiful Kelly green dress on, and I think she had some peacock earrings and blue suede kitten heels.
And her hair was perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
But my award, a new award for best hair, goes to the mom commenter.
Oh, yes!
She had like an amazing like clamshell onyx black fringe, and then like loose pigtails,
big,
like
wavy, yeah. And then the additional like
orange.
colored orange. Yeah, that was really that was very cool.
Best hair, stunning.
Very.
Yes. Any other like wrap up notes on the meeting from you?
These things are hard. I appreciate all the work that the people on council did to get through all these things, and the people who show up to kind of lobby for things, because who was it? Someone said that I don't know if it was this meeting or the previous meeting, but someone showed up in public comment basically said, like, this is the democracy. This is the democratic process. It's not always voting. Sometimes it's talking. Sometimes it's making decisions as a group. Sometimes it's people showing up. And I appreciated that. And so I'm just grateful for all the people, yourself included, who raise this in an accessible way to everybody, but people who are at those meetings, the people who are behind the scenes working on these issues.
Yeah.
I just am grateful for all those people.
Yeah, all the legislative analysts.
Oh,
could be
absolutely. I could be me. I'm going to school. I'm going to study legislative analysty.
I want to say a big thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. These are the friends who are making this podcast possible. You can check out the Patreon for a bingo for each meeting and more insider gossip. The next meeting will be on May 18th and next week, and our guest will be Rena Risper. Thank you so much, Christopher.
Thank you for having me so much, Jill. I appreciate it.
Yes, thank you to the Public Media Center, and thank you all for listening.